Hi, so I got married a couple of months ago, and like many other people, my mother-in-law Sheila has been a pain all along. In the beginning, it was tolerable, but recently she did something totally unforgettable and has been trying to brush it under the rug by being extra sweet to me and requesting that I don't share any of this with her son, my husband, since that will stir up a lot of problems for her. The thing is, I don't think I need to keep a secret, even though she's being sweet to me, because she's only doing it since she knows she's in trouble right now. Basically, she went to a PI agency to hire someone to dig up dirt on me. And this is exactly what she said. I'm literally quoting her right now because that's what my aunt told me, who runs that agency. She's the one who had been approached. And as soon as she saw that her client wanted somebody to tail me, she rejected the case. And for once, she ignored the whole client confidentiality thing, which I think was fine because she had refused to take Sheila on as a client anyway. So she was not betraying anything. Anyway, she contacted me immediately after she had left. And she told me everything, and I was livid because disliking me is one thing, but actively going out of her way to find dirt on me, just so she can use it against me, spread rumors about me in the family, and get everybody to dislike me, that's another thing altogether. And hiring a PI to do so, that's just the lowest of the lowest things that I can imagine. Especially given the circumstances, because I've been with my husband for almost 8 years now. We are both around 27 and we've been friends since we were in middle school. At 19, we started dating, but his family didn't know about it until we were 21 and had already been together for 3 years. The reason that we had kept it secret from his family was that his family was kind of elitist. They wanted him to date and marry only within their social circles, which consisted of people who were in a much higher tax bracket than I was. My parents are ordinary folks with normal jobs. We've had a very normal life, so naturally, even though his parents knew that I had been his friend for a very long time, everything changed the second it was revealed that we were together. His dad came around relatively quickly, and we got along well after a couple of months, but it was Sheila who was the hold-up, because she refused to accept the fact that I was with her son, and was always cold towards me, even though she had been very nice back when he and I were friends and nothing more. The whole gold digger rhetoric came to the surface pretty quickly, and she started taking digs at me, making sly comments. It was annoying, but I never let it get to me, and she was careful enough not to do it when her son was around. So I knew that the two could play at this game, and even I never told him about his mother's behavior towards me. So while he knew that his mom didn't like me much, he didn't know about the rest of it. But now I think it's about time that I tell him everything. In the past couple of days, my mother-in-law has been trying to request that I not reveal any of this, and has been saying that she's very sorry about whatever she tried to do and that she will never repeat this again. But I don't care. I think I should tell my husband. I'm only concerned that it might make me look like the bad guy since she's apologizing. So AITA for wanting to tell my husband that my mother-in-law decided to hire a PI to dig up dirt on me even though she apologized for it. Edit. Okay, so I realize now I didn't mean a lot of things in my original post, which has led to some confusion. So I will just try to clear it all up to the best of my abilities. First of all, people were confused about how my aunt could not recognize my mother-in-law when she approached her. Well, my aunt is actually my dad's second cousin, so she's a faraway relative in the first place. We meet occasionally at family events, But we are not very close as family, so even though she was invited to my wedding, she couldn't make it there. And I didn't post any pictures with my mother-in-law because she had sulked throughout the engagement period and the wedding, and I didn't want that kind of thing on my feed. So that's why my aunt had no idea how my mother-in-law looked. But as soon as she saw that it was me who was the daughter-in-law that Sheila was referring to, she immediately turned her down and called me up. So that's how I found out. Secondly, one of the biggest reasons that I haven't told my husband anything about how his mother has always treated me is that I know that family is very important to him. He loves both his parents, even though he knows that his mom doesn't fully like me as of now. He believes that she will come around eventually, even though she has known about the two of us for almost 5 years now. She has watched us getting engaged and then getting married, and she still doesn't seem to like me very much. But I don't want to take that hope away from him. I don't want to make him feel like his mother is an awful human being, even though she is, because he's an only child. And I know that he's quite attached to his parents. I also know for a fact that if I say anything against his mom, it won't even take him a second to cut her out of his life altogether. That's why I've been holding back, because I know how much he loves me, how much he cares for me, and how nothing compares when it comes to me. I'm not even bragging about it. It's just that I didn't want to create any drama. But now, I honestly don't think that I can avoid it anymore. Update 1. So I told him, it's been a couple of days since my last update, and since everybody in the comments told me that it would be perfectly fair and justified for me to reveal everything to my husband, I decided that it has to be done now. Because for years, I haven't said anything. Even though she has never been nice to me, I had covered up for Sheila and never revealed how badly she always behaved with me behind her son's back, simply because I love and care for my husband, and I did not want him to feel hurt because of his mother's actions. But now, I think since she's pulling out all the stops in her attempts to try and ruin my marriage somehow, I think it's about time that I spoke up and told him everything. So that's what I did. I sat down last evening. I explained everything to him right from the beginning, basically everything that I had mentioned in my original post. I sent it to him and he was shocked. He didn't know that any of this was happening. Of course, he had a vague idea that Sheila and I didn't really get along well, but he thought that it was just normal because he had, like everyone else, heard of mother-in-law and daughter-in-law not getting along well. However, he had no idea of the extent to how deep this all went. And when I told him how I had tolerated her behavior for so many years, he started apologizing to me and told me that he couldn't believe that I had to keep it all to myself, just for his sake. He was clearly very distraught, and I told him that I didn't want to hurt him, which is why I had stayed silent. I told him that it was not his fault, so he did not need to apologize for anything because he was not responsible for his mom's behavior. He reacted exactly how I had expected him to. First, he was very upset at everything that had happened, and he kept apologizing to me for whatever had gone wrong. And then after he processed everything, he was just furious that his mother had been treating me like this and told me that I didn't have to worry about any of us now because he would deal with it. I didn't know what he was going to do. I thought he was going to fight with her or something, but instead, he told me that he was just going to cut her out of his life altogether without any explanation or warning. And that's the worst punishment that he could imagine for her. And to be honest, I think that that's the best way to go about it as well. Because right now, she doesn't deserve to be spoken to. She doesn't deserve to have any sort of contact with us. Over the years, she has had many chances to accept me as part of the family, but she has refused because of some stupid theory that she has cooked up in her head that I am only after the family money, even though I'm a working woman myself, and so far I've tried my best not to rely on my husband financially. It's not that we can keep our finances completely separated, because of course we've been together for a very long time. But yes, I definitely do make an active effort to stay as independent as I can, at least financially. It's not about the money. It's about the self-respect and self-reliance. And I know that my husband respects that about me. But at the same time, he's never skimpy with money. And to be honest, money just hasn't been a big deal for either of us because we love each other for who we are, not for the money. It's only in Sheila's head that things are so warped and distorted. And that's why she doesn't like me, because she's barely ever bothered to get to know me. She just made a decision in her head that she's not going to like me because I don't come from a rich family, without bothering to get to know what kind of a person I was. She has never bothered to reevaluate her stance. Never bothered to think about how her son would feel about how she treats me. And now she's going to have to face up to the consequences of all of that. Because, like I said, not liking me is one thing, but going out of her way like this, just so she can ruin my reputation somehow, it's just disgusting. And I'm glad that my husband has decided to stop talking to her. But I'm just unhappy that it's going to hurt him. I wish I could do something to change that. I wish I could take away his pain somehow, but I can't. So I'm just going to have to let it take its course until he's fine with it. However, I'm still very grateful that I have a husband who is so supportive of me, who is so deeply in love with me that he doesn't care for anyone else more than me. Even after 8 years of being together, we still love each other like we did at first. And I think that's the biggest gift I could have asked for. As long as I have him by my side, I don't care who dislikes me, quite frankly. Update 2. Hey, so it's been 2 weeks since my last update, and for the past 2 weeks, my husband has not been speaking to Sheila. She usually tries to get in touch with him every couple of weeks to invite us over for dinner so we can all meet at least once or twice a month. This time was no different. A couple of days after I told him everything, she decided to get in touch with him, but he just blocked her. It took her a couple of days to realize what had happened, and when she did, she tried to get my father-in-law to contact my husband and asked him what was going on. Since my husband and I didn't have any problem with him, we told him everything and we explained the situation to him. We told him that he's not to reveal any of this to Sheila because we don't want her finding out, and we just wanted to stay away for now. Thankfully, he was on our side. He was also quite upset with her and thought that whatever she had done was out of line. So he agreed to side with us and said that he was just going to tell Sheila that we didn't answer. That was that. And a couple of days later, she decided to take matters into her own hands and show up at our door. It was the weekend and both of us were at home at the time. She decided to show up, but we pretended we were not there and we just stayed silent for about 15 minutes while she stood outside and kept calling out to us, ringing the doorbell, banging the door periodically. After a while, we started to think that maybe she wouldn't go away, but she did. However, she repeated the same thing the next day, and we were quite grateful that from the next day onwards, we were going to be at work. Unfortunately, on Monday, she decided to show up right before both of us were about to leave for work. And she knew that we were at home, so she started saying that unless we opened the door and spoke to her and gave her an explanation for our rude and disrespectful behavior towards them, she was not going to leave. At first, my husband and I thought that we were going to wait it out, but then we might have ended up getting late for work. It was all fine for him. He was the boss at his workplace, but even then, even though he wouldn't have to face any serious consequences, it was still going to set a bad example. And for me, it was not a feasible option because I was trying to get promoted to a senior position in my workplace. And it wouldn't do for me to be late. So, after a short discussion, we decided to open the door, and whatever happens, happens. As soon as we opened the door, she stormed in and she started yelling at both of us, saying that we had no right to behave like this with her and her husband, that we were being exceptionally rude and disrespectful to both of them. She started demanding answers, which was strange because, given whatever had happened, she should have known exactly what was going on. Instead, she started to pretend that she had no idea why we would be acting like this. And I was genuinely confused for a couple of seconds, but then, before my husband could say anything, I was the one who spoke up. I told her I had informed my husband of everything that had been going on for the past several years, everything about her behavior, and especially what she had tried to do recently by hiring a PI. I thought that she would be a little shamefaced at that, but instead she was unfazed and said that she was only trying to look out for her son. She was not going to feel apologetic for feeling protective towards him. And she also said that she had requested me not to reveal any of this to her son because she did not want any problems. But since I had told him everything, it was clear that I had only been looking for an opportunity to speak of her. And now that I had it, I was going to milk it and make sure that her son never spoke to her again. And she should have seen this coming because that's the kind of person I am. I found that bizarre, because as far as I could remember, I was the person who had never revealed how badly she always behaved with me. All the snide comments and remarks she made about me just because I did not want to create any trouble in their relationship, because I cared for my husband. So for her to say that I was the kind of person who would look for opportunities to start trouble, that just didn't even make any sense. And my husband defended me there. He was furious with his mom anyway, and he just couldn't hold it back anymore and started yelling at her. He told her she had no right to speak to me that way because this is my home. She has to be more respectful and mindful of what she says. He told her to apologize and then leave because he did not want anything to do with her right now. And as it is, because of her, we were getting late for work. But she refused. She said that she was not doing well and that she was not going to apologize to me either because she was only trying to protect her son from me, and whatever she had done, it was only in his best interest. So she couldn't say that she was sorry for just trying to be a good mother to him. And she was pretty adamant about all of this, so it was super exasperating. Anyway, after going back and forth on this for a while, my husband told her he was not having this argument anymore and that she just needed to leave because he did not want to talk to her. He told her that if she had truly wanted to be a good mother, she would have just been happy for him because a woman who has been with him for 8 years and has never once made him feel like she's after him for his family's money is clearly the right choice for him. And if she can't accept the fact that he is a grown-up man who can make his own choices, then he doesn't know what to say to her. And he thinks it's best that they don't interact anymore because it's going to be tough for everyone involved. When he said this, he was not screaming at her anymore. He was just resigned. And I really felt bad for him. But even then, she didn't drop it and let it go. She started arguing with him once again, and this time she started attacking me and my character even more viciously. She started to tell him that he should start thinking independently instead of being so easy to brainwash, and said that she's sure that I am manipulating him. She even went to the extent of saying that the only reason I was so upset that she had tried to start an investigation against me was because I probably had something to hide. Something that I could ruin my reputation and could possibly ruin my marriage to him. And that's why I was so upset and I didn't want him to talk to her anymore for that reason. Because I probably knew that she was close to discovering something. And before she found out what it was, I wanted to break the trust that the two of them shared. She implied that I might have been cheating or that I might have done something in my past that was horrible. And so I was so upset about her trying to hire a PI against me. It was such a ridiculous thing to say that I didn't even know how to react to that, so I just burst out laughing because it was insane. And at that point in time, even my husband couldn't help but smile because of how stupid she was being. He had known me for 8 years. We trusted each other. He knew I didn't have any secrets from him. So whatever she was saying literally held no value, and we knew that. We were confident about it, so honestly. The best thing to do in that situation was to just laugh it off, and of course, that infuriated her more. When we started laughing and smiling, whatever she had said, she started to yell at both of us and really cursed us out badly. It was shocking to hear her use that kind of language because she was usually very prim and proper. But anyway, we were just taken aback for a couple of seconds, but after that, we knew that we had had enough because she couldn't speak to us that way and get away with it. So I picked up my phone and told her if she did not leave right away, then I would definitely be calling the police on her, and that would not be good. She started daring me to do it, and I had already dialed the number because I knew I was going to call if she didn't leave, and I did not have any qualms about it. But when she saw I was serious, she started to back out, still cursing me, saying that she was going to make sure that she ruined our marriage and that when her son came crawling back to her, she would accept him because that's how mothers are. And I was never going to be able to tear her son away from her, no matter how much I tried to manipulate him. But anyway, after a while she left and it was a terrible morning. So we decided to just take a day off from work, saying that we were sick or something. He works at his dad's company, so for him it was fine, but I was a bit annoyed. Thankfully, spending the day with him made it worth it. And we decided the next time she shows up, we're just not going to open the door. We're going to call the cops and let them deal with it. We also spoke to his dad, and apparently after she went back home that day, she was furious and kept ranting about what a horrible person I really was and how I was stealing her son from her. We have kept in touch with him. He's very openly on our side now. Because after that interaction that we had with Sheila, he told her he knew whatever had gone down and he was with us. And of course, they're not going to get divorced or anything, but they are at odds over this right now because my father-in-law wants her to apologize. And she's obviously not going to do that. So that has been the situation for the past couple of days. And well, I don't really know what to say. I guess in a way it's good that she's left us alone for now. But there is definitely a lot of drama surrounding everything that's happened, so I'm just waiting for it all to be resolved. I don't care how. I just want it to be done with it, so I don't have to think about this nonsense again. Update 3. Hi, so it's been a couple of weeks since my last update, and right now, Sheila is staying with her friend instead of staying at home because she and her husband have been fighting a lot over whatever has been going on with us. Like I said, my father-in-law is on our side. He wants her to apologize to both of us and try to sort things out. But she is against that idea. She thinks that we are the ones who need to apologize to her, especially me, because apparently she thinks I've been extremely disrespectful and manipulative, and she can't stand for it. I don't understand how I've been either of those things, but whatever. I'm not going to apologize because I know that I'm not wrong. So anyway, like I said, they have been fighting about this and things have been pretty bad. And that's why she chose to move out for a couple of days so she could get some space away from him. And that's when we decided to pay him a visit because we haven't seen him in quite a while. Of course, my husband does run into his dad at work, but it's just not the same thing. So we had dinner together the other day, and even though he's on our side, he's very perturbed about whatever the situation is with his wife. Because they've been together for a very long time. I can understand that this is quite difficult for him. And at the end of the day, regardless of whatever has happened, I know that they love each other. I felt pretty bad for him, so I told him that he doesn't have to keep fighting for us. And we are old enough to fight our own battles. But he told me that it was not just about us, but it was about what is right and what is wrong. He told us that he didn't like the fact that she was being this way, because even though he had also wanted his son to marry somebody from their social circles, he didn't have a problem with me to the extent that she did. And it was not normal to dislike someone this much just because of their financial background. Didn't make any sense. Besides, it was clear that I was not a gold digger. I was an independent woman, and the fact that their son loved me should have been good enough for her to respect me. And I totally agree with that, but sadly, Sheila seems to be one of those women who is way too obsessed with her son. And we can't really do anything about that right now. So I guess my father-in-law is just going to have to deal with the situation no matter how hard it is. And I'm just hoping it doesn't end up in a divorce for them or anything of that sort, because that would be quite sad. He didn't mention anything of the sort when we had dinner together, but I can't see anything else happening now unless she somehow comes to her senses and apologizes soon. Update 4. So it's been 2 months since my last update, and well, my in-laws are not getting divorced. But unfortunately, they have started living separately. Apparently, there was a lot of trouble behind closed doors that we knew nothing of. I don't want to get into that. It's their personal business. But basically, Sheila was not just upset about everything that was going on with her son and me and her husband siding with us, but also about the fact that she felt that throughout the years she had been ignored and sidelined in their marriage. I don't know how much truth there is because I really don't know them like that. But what I do know is that now she has decided that she wants to live separately for a while. In a couple of months, they are going to think about getting marriage counseling. But one thing's for sure, divorce is not on the table for them. That is something that both of them agree upon, so I guess whatever works for them is good enough. We've obviously stayed in touch with my father-in-law, and he's pretty upset about all of this. I don't know how Sheila's doing. We haven't spoken, and I don't think that we're going to in the future either, because she's clearly not sorry at all, which is fine by me, very honestly, because I've never liked her much, and I know that she doesn't like me much either. The only person who's going to lose out on anything here is going to be her. So, I hope she realizes that. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.